Hey ho, history lesson, daily dose of uncomfortable truths. Today we're talking about a chapter of American history that somehow never made it into our school books. A chapter where Black freedom fighters and indigenous warriors stood together and fought the United States military for decades. This is the story of the Black Seminoles and the longest, most successful slave rebellion in U.S. history. Let's start with the basics. In the 1700s and 1800s, enslaved Africans who escaped plantations in the South fled into Spanish-controlled Florida, and instead of being captured, hunted, or returned, many were welcomed by the Seminole Nation. They lived together, worked together, married, and formed a powerful Afro-Indigenous community with one shared belief: freedom was not negotiable. To the U.S. government, that was a threat. By the early 1800s, the U.S. wanted Florida, and it wanted the Black Seminoles destroyed. So the government launched a series of conflicts called the Seminole Wars. Here's your uncomfortable truth. The U.S. didn't fight the Seminoles only for the land. They fought them because the Black Seminoles were proof that enslaved people could escape, arm themselves, and build communities and win. The Black Seminoles fought alongside indigenous Seminoles. They knew the swamps, they knew the land, and they outsmarted soldiers again and again. Historians estimate that this resistance lasted in different forms for about 40 years, making it the longest sustained rebellion against slavery in U.S. history. During the Second Seminole War, the U.S. sent thousands of soldiers. They still couldn't defeat the Seminoles outright. One officer wrote that fighting them was like fighting shadows. They were too skilled, too united, too determined to ever go back to the chains. Eventually, through forced relocation, broken treaties, and nonstop pressure, the U.S. pushed most Seminoles into Indian territory. Even then, the Black Seminoles didn't stop fighting. Some escaped again. Some went to Mexico, where they negotiated land and freedom in exchange for protecting the border from raiders. Mexico called them Los Mascogos, and their descendants are still there today. Think about it. Enslaved Africans escaped the United States, joined an indigenous nation, fought the U.S. military for decades, were forced to relocate, and still found a way to remain free. That's not just resistance. That's survival, strategy, that's strength. But you don't hear this in your textbooks because stories of Black and Native people winning, building alliances, and fighting back don't fit the version of history we were taught. The Black Seminoles weren't a footnote, were a force. And their story is another uncomfortable truth we were never meant to forget.